There is a YouTuber that I follow. He's called Studio Wildlife. I don't know what his real name is, but his main shtick is doing tigers, and he's really super good at it. So I thought, I need some fresh ideas, and I thought, what's a better idea than ripping him off, But no. So I went and I got some tiger reference, and I tried to do this little animal portrait. It's not my usual thing, Maybe if this works out, maybe I'll do some more of them, but we'll see how it goes. But right now, Cheryl's with me, and we're going to do some tiger trivia, or facts, or something. What'd you find, Cheryl?
So tigers are actually the largest wild cats in the world, and male tigers can grow up to be 680 pounds or so. They live in the wild. They live in like Southeast Asia and India. I think India has the largest population of wild tigers. And no two tigers have the same pattern of stripes, so it's kind of like a fingerprint for them.
Okay. The only tigers I've ever seen have been at the Henry Doorly Zoo.
Right, at the zoo.
Yeah, we live in Nebraska, and the Henry Doorly Zoo was like voted the best zoo in the world like 10 times in a row.
And well deserving. It's one of the best zoos. We've been to a few different zoos, like Kansas City. We've been to Albuquerque. We've been to, we went to one in Florida somewhere too, I think.
We went to the petting zoo in Lincoln.
Yeah, right.
They have a giraffe or two.
Right.
But if you want to go to a real zoo, you got to go to Henry Doorly. It really
is one of the top ones in the United States.
So other than being the Cornhusker state, I'm more proud of the zoo. So this is my tiger, and right now I'm going into the ink wash. This is the first set of ink wash I'm going into. If you follow my page, I paint these things to death. So I start with my first layer, and I'll probably have 5 layers before I'm done. So I'm basically just putting in some shading right now. And it's so much easier to shade with a brush and some ink than it is trying to use the pencil. I do use cross-hatching with the pencil. If you follow my page, like I said, you know how I do it. So like and subscribe so you can see more of this. And go back to my old videos. There's stuff back there that I don't even do anymore. Well, I'll start doing it again sometime. Okay. Any more facts or trivia in there?
Well, so tigers in the wild ideally would need about 20 square miles. They're solitary animals. They're not like a pack or a pride animal. They prefer to, be on their own. And ideally, they would need about 20 square miles. They're an endangered species, obviously because civilization is encroaching on their space. But like regular domestic cats, they pee on stuff to mark their territory, which I'm sure that's fun.
Our cat doesn't do that.
No, our cat doesn't do that.
We have a pretty spectacular cat. What's his name?
His name is Sherbert.
What kind of cat is he? We think. We don't know for sure.
He has a Turkish van. He looks like a Turkish van cat, which is a breed of cat. They have long hair and white and orange coloring.
He's very interesting. He was a rescue cat. My brother found him on his farm. And I've never had a cat before with a catanality. Do you call it a catanality?
Like us.
Like he has. He is so, I don't know, it's hard to describe. He's not unfriendly, but he knows who he likes.
And who does he like?
He likes you.
That's right.
He acts like a baby, but he likes me okay. He'll come over to me once in a while for about a 30-second scratching, and then he's like, I'm done with you, and goes away and goes sort of sleeps. Where he'll lay on top of her for hours on end. So I'm a little jealous that I don't get the attention. But he's a very, very pretty cat.
He's handsome.
Very, very attractive cat. We took a picture of him and we Google lensed it, and he came up as Turkish van. I don't know what that means exactly. I think it means he's expensive. I think
it could be, I suppose.
Whoever lost him sure lost a good one, because this cat could be a model, like a cat food model, or a hand model, or a eye model. He's very attractive. I should probably put a picture of him up, but I'm not going to, because I'm just going to put my tiger, and I'm putting in I'm going in a second round of darks right here, around the eyes. This is kind of like mascara. Eventually I put a third eyeliner. I put a third layer of the darks on there, because I wanted to go darker and put more contrast, and that's what you do when you're an artist doing a tiger painting.
So how long would you think that a tiger lives? What's their lifespan?
I'm guessing 14 years.
8 to 10, actually.
Well, that's about the same as a domestic cat, right?
Well, yeah, I guess it depends. I mean, we had a cat that lived for 19.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end, she couldn't see two things, and
she couldn't see. I had to put food coloring in her water bowl because her depth perception was gone, and she couldn't see that there was water in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, tigers. Anything else about tigers we need to know about? They have 4 paws. They have
4 paws with pads on them.
What do they eat for lunch?
They're carnivores, so they eat deer and other small animals like that.
Do they eat
and they
people?
tend to hunt at night. They're nocturnal.
Oh, nocturnal.
Yeah.
Do they eat people?
I suppose they could.
Of course they do. Or apes, or other apes, besides people apes. Okay, now what am I doing here? I'm putting in my layer of darks. I'm kind of bordering around the edges of its face. Oh, good, I pulled it up a little bit. Now you can see the lower half. Oh, here we go. I had to go to the store today and buy some orange paint because I didn't have any left. And I thinned it down. Usually I use watercolors, but I used thick acrylic, and I just watered it down and turned it into watercolor. So I want it to be transparent. When you do the underpainting technique, what you do is you put all of your goodies on the painting first. Then you just go over it with the glaze of your color. And that's what I do here. I've been doing this painting technique for years. Hey, while I got you here, I want you to like and subscribe and ring the bell, right, Cheryl?
Ring the bell, yes.
Because if you want to see all my stuff, you're going to have to ring that bell. And make some comments, because comments do a lot to get my stuff shown on YouTube. There's some algorithm, and comments help me a lot. So you can tell me my tiger's good. You can tell me my tiger's bad. You can ask me how I did my tiger. I think I'm explaining it pretty good. But now I'm putting the whiskers on, and now I didn't want to leave the tip of the nose pure white, so I just put a light orange on it, and I'm putting some highlights on the edges here. This is not what I usually do, but I think it worked out pretty good. So I'm happy with this picture. I'm happy with it. I think this is right now it's about 3.5 stars out of 5. But once I get the eyes done, you're going to want to purchase this from me or put it on a T-shirt or something. So
tattoo.
Tattoo. I've drawn pictures that have ended up on people's bodies before. So I'm not a tattoo artist, but my art's been a tattoo. Okay, now I'm putting on my darkest, what do you call it, eyeliner, right?
Eyeliner.
So I wanted the eyes really to stand out. So the rest of the fur, I did not do this, just the eyes. Here goes, because I'm putting the underside highlight on the eyes. It wasn't as bright as I wanted it to be, but it worked out. And then here comes the eye shine. Boom and kaboom! This is now $1 million picture. So you can buy this from me for $1 million. Please subscribe. Ring the bell. Cheryl, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. On the screen right now is a falcon. I've done a lot of falcons in my day. On this YouTube channel, I have several of them. And coming up, I will show you a few of them. Those are acrylic paintings, where this is more of an ink wash watercolor. It's a different kind of a process. And I think you'd enjoy watching that if you go back and look. The name of this video is called The Artist's Curse. But before I get to that, I want to talk about something stupid. I got a comment on one of my videos just recently where a guy said, you have some skills, but your videos are boring. And I should know better than to respond to a troll, I guess. But it's hard enough just getting these there. That's one of my falcons. That's a falcon with a Mayan headdress, and that's a falcon with a bunch of spiky things on his head. But I do a lot of falcons, and that's what my acrylic work looks like. But back to this little troll. It's hard enough just getting this artwork on the page. I'm not a Larry the Cable Guy, and I can't just crack a bunch of jokes. And I try to make it as entertaining as possible. And just a quick little factoid: Larry the Cable Guy grew up and was born about 90 miles from my house in Pawnee City, Nebraska. And I've been to his hometown. It looks like a small town in Nebraska. There's a street in that town named after him. I've seen it. I think it's called the Larry the Cable Guy Street. And there's nothing spectacular about it, but I've seen it. But on the page right now, I am doing a falcon, and it's fun. I enjoy doing birds because the feathers have a lot of texture to them. I'm working with my HB as in boy pencil and my 2B pencil because I wanted some thick lines and I wanted some thin lines. I wanted to kind of mix things up. And I have this way of doing texture, and the only way I can describe it is just to watch me do it. I can't even explain it. It just kind of flows out of my hand. If you're trying to learn how to do this, the best way to learn how to do it, at least for me, is just to watch me do it. Because it's hard to explain exactly what's going through my brain, especially when I sped up this fast. But I'm just putting a lot of contour lines, and it's kind of funny. It just kind of flows into my brain. I see what I need to do, and I just do it. I know this. I need a line here. I need a squiggle here. I need to fill this in here, and it's just autopilot for me. So right now I am just, oh, there's my new logo. Hey, I'm going to start getting some merch, I think. Some coffee mugs. You know, if I ever blow up and become a huge YouTuber, I'm going to need some merch. So I started off by making this little printout thing of my logo, which is kind of funny because it's a cowboy. And you think that a guy whose page is called Keith Trim Dragon Art would have a dragon for a logo. But I've done a lot of cartooning in my life, and that particular picture was used for a local town celebration here in Nebraska. It was a Western theme. And I had that thing on my computer forever. I thought, well, there's no use wasting it and letting it sit, so I decided to repurpose it. I mean, I am no cowboy boy by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, here, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. I have got more and more subscribers coming all the time, and it is so it encourages me to do more. It really does. The more feedback I get, the more comments I get, the more I want to do this. You know, it's just basic psychology. So feed my dopamine hit here and subscribe and tell me what you think. So now I'm going on my second layer of ink washes because I wanted to have at least two layers so it has more contrast. One layer works, but almost looks washed out without the second one. So I'm putting on a simple little second layer of ink wash just to kind of darken the edges down and kind of define my feathers a little bit. Feathers are fun to do. These birds have really interesting eyeballs, and eyeballs is one thing that I really, really work on, and it's kind of like my little trademark. You got to watch and see how I do them. I'm outlining them, getting more definition. I'm defining out the feathers here, and I hope I'm being entertaining. If I'm not, I got a little story to tell you here. Oh, I'm putting in the pupil here. So I'm going to tell you a little story. This is entertaining, so it won't be so boring. Do you remember back when you were a kid, like in 4th or 5th grade? Well, I do. I remember this time I was at this, I don't know what it was some class we did, where I had to sit down at a table. Oh, I'm putting on my first layer of color here. It's brown. I have a reference that I'm looking at, and I'm choosing my colors based on my reference. So I'm in this classroom. I'm probably, I don't know, 12 years old, maybe 10, and they put a blindfold on me, and this girl was sitting in front of me at this table, and they had all this food sitting on the table, and for some reason I remember they had tongue depressors. And sitting on the table, I noticed right away that there was some peanut butter in a cup. Now, here's a factoid you need to know. If you want to know about me as a person, you need to know I cannot stand peanut butter. I can't even stand the smell of it. I'm not allergic to it. I just can't stand to look at it, to smell it, to taste it. And I remember, this must have been pretty significant in my life, telling this girl, do not give me the peanut butter. Well, you know, so guess what? I put my blindfold on, and I don't know what she gave me first, some apple slices or who knows what, banana. But here comes the peanut butter. And, you know, back in those days, I don't know, I didn't go ballistic, but I was very upset that the teacher, or even her, allowed them to put peanut butter in my mouth. And I gagged on it, and it was gross, and which brings me to a second weird factoid about myself. I cannot stand peanut butter, yet I can eat a Snickers bar. I don't know what they do to Snickers bars. I think they like boil the peanuts and take all the flavor out. I can't smell the peanuts. I can't taste the peanuts. So I have no problem eating a Snickers bar. But you give me a peanut butter sandwich, peanut butter on crackers, and I will, oh, here, eye shine. I put my eye shine on. Watch how I do the eyes here. If you want to learn anything from me right here, watch how I do my eyes. That's what makes my paintings become extremely valuable, and it always ranks them up into the $1 million range. I will sell this picture to you for $1 million. I take PayPal, and my wife has Venmo. So, oh, and right here, I put these highlights right here. These highlights were not on the painting, the original picture. I'm using artistic license right here and adding highlights that were not there just to embellish it. And I think these highlights really like that. That wasn't there. It adds to the picture so much. And I'm using thick white paint. I'm not using watercolor here at all. So that's another thing you can learn. You can do what you want with your paintings because nobody cares about your paintings. Oh, back to the artist curse thing. Jeez, I got a few minutes here. The whole artist curse thing is that somebody gave me the ability to do this and not the ability to make any money off of it. Like I said, I won $1 million from this. You know, I can't sell nothing I do, and it sucks. So I feel like I don't know, somebody gave me, oh, I splashed right there. I feel like somebody gave me something, $1 million check, and won't give me the chance to cash it in, and it sucks. I mean, I practice this stuff, I work at this stuff, and you know, I'm not going to stand at some art fair in the 101 degree heat trying to hawk this stuff. It's just ridiculous. And nobody's going to contact me and hire me to do artwork for them. That's not going to happen. That hasn't happened yet. So I'm done bitching. That's the artist's curse. The artist's curse is that for some reason, like that guy said, I have the skills. I just don't have anybody with a wallet opened up to hand me any money to do this. So my only outlet I have is YouTube. So like that dopamine hit I need from you guys, like and subscribe, make comments, you know, and that's about the best I can do. So don't, you can take away my curse a little bit by at least being friendly, being nice, and you know, and sticking with me. Get your friends to like this. That was my reference. I went by so fast. Subscribe, hit the bell, like it, and thank you for showing up. This is the video you were looking for if you want to impress your friends the next time you show them your art, or want a new skull tattoo that would stand out from the crowd. This video takes you from the pencil sketch, through the ink wash, the watercolor, and then the highlights, and lays it all out for you to try for yourself. There is no better way to improve your art than copying someone else, and there is no dishonor in that method. We all do it. If you are here just to watch, then have a good time. If you like watching tattoo artists, then you will love this video as well. Since you're probably either in the bathroom or in class watching this, the voiceover ends now. My wife says this work of art would make a great tattoo, and as popular as skulls are in tattoo art, I would agree. This particular skull resembles the sugar skull from Mexico. Sugar skulls are a traditional folk art from southern Mexico and are used as symbols to remember a person who has passed. Sugar skulls are made of granulated white sugar mixture that is pressed into skull-shaped molds and then decorated. Each sugar skull represents a departed loved one and is usually placed on an altar or a gravestone as an offering to the spirit of the dead. Sugar skulls are often decorated with a person's name. This work is loosely based on the sugar skull, but overall the design was more of a tribal decoration that I made up on the spot. I was looking to create patterns that people would naturally pick up on and are hardwired to seek out. If I were trying to emulate the sugar skull, this work would have turned out much differently, especially since I put a squid in the composition. The squid popped into my head as I was putting on the skull on the paper as a way to balance out the left side of the image and allowed me to put more patterns on its skin. And the eyeballs and the tentacles is something new for me and is becoming a trademark of my art. My overall goal for this was to create a black and white Frank Miller-ish inspired image with a lot of contrast. I did at the end add some gray wash to pull the skull forward, and in the end decided to add some red and blue accent colors to make the whole thing pop. I made sure to add the ink palette in the video so you could see how I go back in and out to refresh my brush. I added just a touch of water to the ink to make sure it would flow easily off the brush. I used 2 different size brushes for the most part and thickened up as much of the outside edges in a comic book style with a 3/8 brush. The fine line was great to get into tight spots and add more patterns that hooked your eye. If you picked this video to learn how to paint a skull like this, then please stay till the end. If you are here just to watch the process, then again stay till the end. The best way to learn is by observation, and our creation can be very entertaining. The following is from the website Chronic Ink from Toronto, Canada, and is related to skull tattoos. A human skull tattoo. The human skull tattoo generally represents death. The person wearing this tattoo usually uses it to symbolize the fact that death does not scare them. It also reminds people that death is inevitable. Therefore, we should always live life to the absolute fullest. In other words, a fear of mortality should not dictate your quality of life. The Grim Reaper tattoo. Although the Grim Reaper tattoo is common representation of death, this tattoo actually symbolizes the circle of life and can represent courage and a good fortune. It is sometimes accompanied by the words such as "Fear the Reaper" or "No fear," "Death comes for us all," and other quotes. The Skull with Wings tattoo. A skull with wings comes from hundreds of years of art culture and represents the Latin saying "memento mori," which translates to remembrance of our own death. This can represent, once again, our mortality, or also symbolize the sense of character growth, as in the death of a bad habit or quality in ourselves. The Longhorn Skull tattoo. The Longhorn skull is inspired by the Native American culture. They believe this tattoo is a symbol of the everlasting protection of Earth's natural elements. It is also seen to represent courage and strength to fight evil using the elements of the earth. Skulls are often the chosen tattoo of those looking for a bold and artistic design that makes a statement. The skull is a powerful symbol, as it states that our mortality should not be feared, as our death on earth is simply the beginning of a new life. In other words, death should not be feared, because although dying is part of life, it is also not quite the end. Skull tattoos are an extremely popular form of symbolism seen in both culture and tattoos. These tattoos may be representative of both the positive and the negative, good and evil, and also life and death. For the most part, skulls represent some sort of positive aspect that comes from the negative, because the human skull is the last part of the body to decay after death. It is known to represent consciousness, intellect, and our temporary stay in this physical world. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share this video so you can see all of my other new works as I produce them and post them to this page.